What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Kingdom. Your boy is back with a new video, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about the month of February that just passed. I mean, it was Black History Month, so celebration of that as well, but it was a big month for gaming. I mean, there were so many hot releases, some Game of the Year contenders, some hidden gems, I would say so, and just an overall fun month of video games. And for those of you who haven't been able to keep up, well, guess what? Game King here is going to give you all the lowdown of what happened this past month for games that you may not have known about, some games you may have forgot about, or even just the fact of, hey, go get yourself a copy of that game that you know you've been waiting to get, because guess what? It finally came out back in the month of February. Of course, we're into March, and there's going to be a lot of games coming up in March as well, but we're talking about February. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let the King speak to you. Let's get it going. The first game that dropped this month came out on February 1st and is a doozy of an RPG, and it's part of a series of games that have been going strong since 2014. This is actually a continuation of the series, and it's a great game for all of you that like cooperative multiplayer games, since it is an RPG and makes it even more fun. This is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and it was co-developed by Side Games and Platinum Games up until a certain point where Platinum Games decided to dip out on the project. The cool thing about this is that some of the main characters from the original game will showcase themselves in here, and it's part of the same universe as a whole, and it's great to have some type of game where, hey, I love RPGs just as much as the next person, and this game does not disappoint. It's already sold 1 million copies in the first 2 weeks of its release, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. If you like fast-paced action, beautiful colors, a great soundtrack, and a wonderful cast of characters, I do recommend checking out this game for yourself if you've never heard of it. Also, check out Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is actually a fighting game. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and also on Windows. Check it out. Now, we all love Persona, I'm pretty sure, and Atlas knows what we love. Now, Persona 5 has been around for some time now, but there was another game that literally helped Persona become the icon that it is in the video gaming world. This is Persona 3 Reload, and this is a remake of the instant classic that was back on the PS2 all those years ago. If you've never played Persona 3 at all, this is a great chance to play it and get to see a whole new look of what it can possibly bring to your hands and to give you an experience that you've never had before. This is on all major consoles such as PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and also the PC. This game came out on February 2nd, so between this and Grand Blue Fantasy, there was really no break. So you got two awesome RPGs on your hands already in the month of February. This game will not disappoint you at all. If you are a big Persona fan and an Atlas fan as a whole, check out Persona 3 Reload, and you will be amazed by how well it looks compared to the original game that came out all those years ago on the classic PS2 system. With the success of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, and many other anime games out there in the world, they finally paved the way for this anime to get its own game as well. And Bandai Namco has finally blessed us with a Jujutsu Kaisen game called Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. This game literally dropped the same day as Persona 3 Reload, so it's got some competition ahead of itself. This is an arena fighter similar to like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games or the Burning Blood One Piece game that you may have played back on the PS4. This game is on all major consoles such as the Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and it was also on the PC. Now, it hasn't gotten too many good reviews based on certain technical difficulties, or even it looks kind of barren in the sense of graphics or looks overall in the environment. But if you're a true Jujutsu Kaisen anime fan, you're pretty much going to love this game no matter what anybody says. But if you really want to save some money, I will wait till the price drop hits due to the fact of just how bad this game has been getting beaten by reviewers and consumers alike. Overall, Jujutsu Kaisen is a great anime. If you have not watched the series, go and check it out because it is a great anime and it's got some movies out. But the game does look pretty cool as a whole, and it's an arena fighter, so you know pretty much what to expect. Check out Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash. February 2nd was no joke to gamers around the world because you guys got 3 AAA titles dropping all in the same time. This is developed by Rocksteady Games, and we are finally getting it in our hands, and all the DC fans can rejoice because Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League finally has released. This game had dropped on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and it went through some developer hell due to the fact that, well, it didn't get a good crowd reaction that Rocksteady was hopefully planning on, and due to the fact that it was an online only game, which really kind of hurt it, and they pretty much kept it. This game did get some overall graphic improvements since the initial showcase of it. It did go through some overhauls in certain mechanics and certain gameplay, but overall the game does look promising in most ways possible. It does look a lot of fun. If you have some friends as well, check it out with your friends because it's gonna make it that much more fun. Now you get to see a whirlwind of cast of characters such as Superman, Batman, Harley Quinn, Flash, Green Lantern, and so many others. And I mean, the whole point of the game is, well, to kill the Justice League, so it's not much else you really have to expect in this game other than trying to make sure that the Justice League suffers. Check out Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League if you haven't done so already, and try to keep your expectations a certain way, because I'll tell you this, even though it may not have gotten the complete overhaul that everybody wanted, just give it a chance and I'm pretty sure you won't be entirely disappointed. Arena shooters and battle royale games are all the rage nowadays with the kids and even adults, like with the help of Fortnite out here. And on February 6th, we were blessed with a game that literally uses foam to shoot at your opponents. This is a PlayStation exclusive and it's called Foam Stars. This game has been in development for some time. We had got an announcement last year about it, and it looks to be a whole lot of fun for the friends and for the family alike. You make foam around the entire stage, making vantage points, deflecting against the enemy, and you're going to use this foam to help you win the battle. This game looks to be a whole lot of fun. I haven't played a shooting game like this in some time, like mainly an arena shooter, but there's a colorful cast of characters around to shoot with. You get to literally do this on your own, or you get to team up with your friends. Check out this game if you haven't done so already. It is only on PlayStation, so Xbox fans and PC fans right now, you're kind of at a disadvantage, but hopefully one day we'll see it be cross-platform at some point. Check out Foam Stars. I remember years ago there was a movie that was called Starship Troopers, which was a bug alien movie that had literally these Marines shooting the heck out of all these nasty alien bugs that was on this planet. Well, there's a game that's pretty much talking about that exact movie in some type of way, shape, or form. But this is Helldivers 2 that's getting released on February 8th for PC and for the PS5. So unfortunately for Xbox users, you're out of luck until they decide to maybe make it for the Xbox. This is a third-person shooter that was being developed by Arrowhead Game Studios and published by Sony Interactive. This is a sequel to the original Helldivers that was a top-down 2015 shooter that came out. This one here has already been getting so many positive reviews, and it's actually sold 1 million copies within its first 3 days of release. This game has been so popular and so many people around the world have been playing it. It's been getting all the rage. I really do enjoy this game. I've been playing it. I am so stoked about it because of just how well it looks, how fun it is to play with your friends. And if you haven't gotten your hands on it, well, good luck finding a copy because it's actually been that hard to even find a copy for PS5 as of late. You get to choose a bunch of different weaponry, you get to play with your friends, go against the odds of all these different bugs and do all types of different airstrikes. I mean, the game is just absolutely intense. There's also a game like Earth Defense Force that's kind of similar in some ways, but this one here takes the cake. Check out Helldivers 2 if you can find yourself a copy on PS5, or check it out on PC. Anime and visual novels seem to go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And if you're familiar with this anime, this is literally going to be right up your alley. This is Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, Love for These Clothes of Desire, was released on February 8th for the PS4, Nintendo Switch, and for the PC. This is actually a visual novel game that was re-released back from 2020 and was only on the PS Vita, and now we're finally getting our hands on a Western release for it. This is actually taking place in the second season of the anime. It's in the continuation of a game called Judgment on This Greedy Game, if you played that one before, but of course, once again, a Japanese release. Kazuma and the gang return in this time management style game where you're also going to be able to buy and also use resources to create different types of items and of course building relationships. Now, I'm not really a big visual novel fan, but for those of you who just enjoy those types of games, this is literally something you want to add into your library. If you haven't picked this up already, please check out Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. Love for these, clothes of desire. If you're familiar with a company by the name of Focus Entertainment, the same company that's brought you games such as a Plague Tale Innocence series, a Sherlock Holmes series, and even the new Atlas Fallen game that came out not too long ago, and even the Vampire series, this is a game that you want to make sure that you get into your collection. This is Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, and this is a third-person action role-playing game where you take control of two ghost hunters that investigate a small but haunted community by the name of New Eden. They both have spiritual powers, and you have to use those powers to see why this place is being haunted by these hostile enemies. This game was first talked about back in 2019 and is the spiritual successor to the Vampire series. This game was released on PS5, Windows, and Xbox Series S and X. If you haven't seen this game or haven't even checked this game out in any way, shape, or form, I highly recommend it due to the fact that it's gotten so many good positive reviews so far, and it looks to be that it's going to be at least a good contender for Game of the Year possibly. To those games such as like even Assassin's Creed, this is going to be right up your alley. Check out Banishers if you haven't done so already. This might be a game that keeps you busy for quite some time if you haven't gotten anything new into your library. February 13th is another day this month that just wants to put so much pressure on your wallets to acquire all these games. Unfortunately, for those of you who are console users, you're gonna have to wait a little while before it jumps onto those, because this is only available on Steam. This is Lasfenga, the Time Shift Warrior, and this is similar to a game such as like Hades, which is a top-down hack and slash beat 'em up kind of game. This is where you take control of the main character by Ime, or otherwise as the protector of the realm, that will pretty much have different types of powers such as time shifting, rewind time, or even making clones of herself to protect the land that she is going to make sure that evil doesn't spread across. It's a very unique game that seems to be pretty much on the same lines as what Hades did back in the day, but it does look a little unpolished for some users. It hasn't done too well in the sense of reviews, but overall it does look like it's going to be something fun to play for some time. Unfortunately, like I said before, this is only going to be on Steam, but maybe one day we might get onto Switch or even the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. Check out Lasfenga, the Time Shift Warrior. Releasing alongside Banishers and Lasfenga on February 13th, the world was introduced to a game called Ultros, which is a psychedelic sci-fi journey as they mentioned. This game uses a unique and eccentric art style with an awesome sounding soundtrack and crazy style environments with unique storytelling. This game was released for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and it has not disappointed users that have bought the game already. This uses close quarter combat with some crazy looking life forms. You're going to be seeing all types of different skill techniques and going into this weird world called the sarcophagus that you have to explore. This game is pretty trippy for a lot of people who are just finding out about it, and for those of you who've been tracking this, you already kind of know what to expect with it. It's a unique Metroidvania, so to those of you who are big fans of Metroidvania, this is going to be literally right up your alley in so many different ways. And I'm pretty sure with punishing combat, you're going to be rage quitting at some point in time or another. If you have not given this game a chance in any way, shape, or form, or you're just finding out about it for the first time, I highly do recommend it. I've been actually playing this game for a little while now, and I have been thoroughly impressed with the combat and just the unique overall look of this game. Give this one a chance for those of you who are Metroidvania fans. Ultros. On February 14th, the world was reintroduced to Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. All three games are available digitally, so you're gonna have to download them, but they're on every major platform existing. If you're old enough to remember the great PS1 classics of old, then you know what to expect in this remaster. Now you can also go to the old school style of playing where Lara Croft had the triangle you-know-what, but of course the graphics do look pretty much updated to what the standard is today. The game has been getting some criticism due to the fact that some technical glitches and also how some graphics and some monitoring on the control scheme. But overall, if this is your first time getting introduced to Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider games, this is a great start for you, especially since there's newer games of Tomb Raider nowadays. Check out the Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remaster that's available now. If you've ever played a game series called Gunvolt or the Azure Striker Gunvolt series of games, let me tell you, this is not exactly what you're going to be expecting, because we're being reintroduced with a new game in the series called Gunvolt Records Chronicle, which is actually a music rhythm game which has 15 tracks. I'm going to tell you about this game right now, and I'm going to be short and sweet to the point. This is not great in any way, shape, or form due to the fact that it only has literally 15 tracks in total with planned DLC in the works. This game was released on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X. Now, I really honestly do enjoy rhythm games, but this one kind of just didn't do it for me, honestly. Checking out the fact that it only had 15 tracks kind of killed it for me. But if you want something that just kind of changes the mood in your playstyle, or anything in the sense of just, hey, I want something that's a little bit different than the type of genres that I've been playing lately, check out Gunvolt Records Chronicle. But like I said, I would probably wait until a sale drops onto this game just to get it for 15 tracks. If you've ever played games like Overcooked, which is an instant classic in the cooking simulator style of games, or even Chef's Up, then you're going to pretty much enjoy this new game that just came out in February 15th, which is called Plate Up. This is on every major console and also on the PC possible. To those types of games that you have to have some friends, I do highly recommend having some friends or even some family members play with these games. Can get very, very stressful and just high octane fun in the sense of just, hey, I need to cook some food and serve to my guests before they get angry and I have to close down for business. This game is extremely fun in all types of different ways, but with the roguelike progression in this, makes it even more fun to where you unlock different locations, different types of dishes and abilities that you'll have throughout the entire experience of playing this game. I do highly recommend Plate Up if you played those games that I mentioned earlier, and to make sure, hey, if you got any extra controls around, keep them close by, because I'm gonna let you know now, you're gonna rage quit if you don't have a good band of soldiers behind you. Check out Plate Up. Mario and Donkey Kong are up to their old antics once again in this remake of a GBA game from old. If you remember this series of games that have been going strong for the past few years, then you're really gonna enjoy this remake. This is Mario vs. Donkey Kong onto the Nintendo Switch that was released on February 16th. Now, this game does have two unique playstyles, casual and classic mode, where casual removes the time limit, but adds checkpoints to the levels and allows Mario to take 5 hits before he literally loses a life altogether. And the classic mode plays like the old school way it used to be on the GBA. This game also features a cooperative mode where you get to play as Toad as a second player. Fans of this game used to remember how this game was really fun on the new take and looking as how Mario vs. Donkey Kong games used to be from back in the day on the original system. But with a new fresh outlook and some enhanced graphics, fans of the series will enjoy this classic remake of the game as a whole fan favorite, to where Mario, of course, being Mario, has to go through each and every level to defeat Donkey Kong. Check out Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch if you haven't gotten it for your collection already. Raise the sails, swap the poop deck, and make sure the cannons are loaded, because Skull and Bones finally is released on February 16th of 2024 after a long time of development hell. This game finally decides to get into our hands in 17th century peak golden age piracy, where you and your friends get to go on the 7 seas. It's available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and also on the PC. This is a tactical open world action adventure game where it's going to be in the third person perspective, where you get to control a customized pirate ship and you get to go on a single campaign or even play with live players around the entire world. Now, this game is going to probably remind you similar to what Sea of Thieves are, so if you ever played that game, give this one a go if you have not checked this out yet. Skull and Bones is finally available, so give it a go if you can. And make sure you got some good hearty friends with you, because man, you're gonna need them on the high seas. I like turn-based tactics games just as much as the next guy, and although I've never been a huge Warhammer fan, I know there's one man on this entire planet that loves this series more than anybody else, and that's Henry Cavill, that's probably been playing this game to this very second. This is released on February 20th and it's called Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemon Hunters. This is literally the reboot of the 1998 classic game of the same name, just without the Daemon Hunters. This is where you control a squad of Grey Knights to fight against the Nargle, who are attempting to plague the galaxy called the Bloom. And it's actually a very unique looking style of game because, well, I've never personally played any of the Warhammer games, and I know there's a new one also coming out called Warhammer Space Marines 2, but it's not exactly the same style of gameplay like this one is. If you're a fan of true tactics-based games, such as like Halo Wars or anything of that nature, like the Command & Conquer series even, then you're gonna need to give this game a go because it looks very beautiful. It looks to be a heck of a lot of fun. There's tons of classes to pick from and upgrades to make them even stronger to go against the enemy. You even get the break stuff in here to use against them, which makes it even more fun. It's available on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and Xbox One like I mentioned before. And if you have not heard about this game and you are a Warhammer fan, make sure you get a chance to play this because you're not going to be disappointed, especially since you already know what this game is like. Check out Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemon Hunters. For those of you who are action RPG fans that know games like Diablo, then there's a new action RPG to scratch that itch that you might have been looking for and to kind of get some time off of Diablo and games like that. This is the last epic that's releasing on February 21st for the PC, and this game is where you're actually combining time travel with excellent dungeon crawling, an immersive character customization class ranking system, and endless replayability that gives newcomers and veterans alike tons of hours to put into. There's literally 15 different classes to pick from that you can make and customize however you feel that your playstyle may go with, and also 120 different skill trees, which is absolutely insane for a game. Now, I'm into action RPGs such as like Diablo that this game pretty much plays as. Now, and also not too much I know about this game because this is the first of its actual class of game that we've seen in the series, and hopefully if it does well we may even see a sequel. But for those of you who've been stuck on Diablo and you want to give a new taste of a game into your library, then I do say go ahead and check out this one and give it at least a run for your money in some type of way, shape, or form. There's tons of different weapons to pick from and tons of different loot to gather on to make sure that your experience is so thoroughly enjoyable. Check out the last epic when it finally launches on 21st of February. Back in the year 1999, there was a third-person shooter that was released for the Sega Dreamcast called Slave Zero. Well, now we're getting a new game a part of the series on February 21st, and this is called Slave Zero X. This is actually a side-scroller hack and slash that takes place 4 years prior to the original game, where you control a guy by the name of Sho who fuses with a slave unit prototype, and he's part of a group called the Guardians that are going to fight against a gentleman by the name of Sovereign Khan who rules the world with an iron fist. Now, the fast-paced action, high-stakes hack and slash beat 'em up style, the crazy-looking art style and narrative that goes along with this game, and a good soundtrack to go along with it makes the game that much more entertaining. It has a crazy look to it just because of the fact that it has that biopunk style look to it. But overall, the game seems to be promising in so many different ways, and it's glad to see that now they seem to be wanting to make this an actual series compared to the original game that came out all those years ago. So luckily, we might see something later down the road for another game. But for right now, Slave Zero X is on the scene, and I hope that a lot of people can appreciate the sprite-based style look of it. Give it a go if you haven't checked this game out for yourself yet. I feel as if sometimes gamers should step out the box a little bit and play a genre of video games that they may not be used to. Of course, there's sports, there's racing, there's fighting, and so many others out there. But sometimes a nice simulator can really soothe the soul. On February 22nd, released for all major consoles and also Steam, A Garden of Life, a cozy simulator was released. This is literally like it states in the title of the game itself, where you basically tend to a garden, planting flowers and trees, tending to the garden in the sense of making sure that the environment is right, going against the weather, and just relaxing, just taking a peace of mind from all the fast-paced action that you might get in Call of Duties and things like that, and just tending to the garden and making sure that it thrives and flourishes as it should. Now, I'm not used to simulators, especially a garden simulator, which is kind of a little bit different for me in my own way of playing video games. But as a whole, I think it's something that looks nice. It looks something that can be relaxing for your day if you just want to come home and just jump into something nice. And you can really just make your creativity really be something special in a video game where you can literally just make your garden look like the type of garden you want in even real life. Check out Garden Life, a cozy simulator if you haven't done so yet, and give it a try if it's something that you're not used to. If you're looking for a new survival game to add to your already backlog library of video games for this month, then you're in luck. And this game right here that I'm about to talk about next can scratch that itch. On February 22nd, a game by the name of Specific Drive was released, and it takes place in 1998, where you are taking control of the character in a first-person perspective and driving around in your station wagon on the road. This game is where you take control of the car and making sure that the car stays in working function, where you have to actually change the tires, add oil, and gather materials to fix your car to make it look as brand new as it possibly can, but also traversing against different things that may come out at you, like these metal monsters that will literally eat the metal from your car. It gives a whole new twist to a survival horror style type of game that really just gives a sense of like, I need to make sure I watch out for everything around me. The game is very unique in its overall fashion, and it really just looks good and has been getting very positive reviews. If you're into those survival style games that where you have to make sure that everything is perfect and you gotta make sure that you can survive in here, going against the trenches and going against some crazy looking stuff that may surprise you throughout the entire game, then this is the game for you. Check out Pacific Drive. Again, it's available on PlayStation 5 and PC. On February 20th, a new open world survival crafting game was released into the wild by the name of Nightingale. Unfortunately, this game was released for the PC, so for those of you who are running on consoles, you're gonna have to wait for the possibility of it reaching to those systems. This is a single player style game, but you can also play with cooperative, so it makes it more fun and entertaining to bring your friends along with you as you go and gather items to craft items, go against these fearsome monsters where you're going to be considered as a realm walker, and pretty much just having some fun. It does look like a promising game overall, and it does look like it's going to be something that a lot of people can jump into once they get their hands on it. I didn't know this game even existed till the beginning of like this video being made, and it actually looked like something I would be interested in playing, especially if you have your friends joining the fray with you. If you're into crafting, awesome cast of characters who are looking around, and some fearsome monsters to go against, I would say go ahead and give Nightingale a go and check it out for yourself alongside some partners to go into the fray and crafting some crazy items and weapons to go against the realm itself. Anybody who knows video games knows of the game League of Legends. Well, there's a new game that somewhat relates to it, but it's not entirely hard canon, but the world itself and the characters do belong in some form or fashion. In this game that was released on February 21st, Bandle Tale, a League of Legends story that was developed by Lazy Bear Games and published by Riot Forge. In this game, you'll take control of a cute little character that is ending its 100-year-long apprenticeship and wants nothing more than to see the world itself past the point of Bandle City. This is a single-player role-playing game where crafting is a big part of the game element itself, and in this game where the world goes into utter chaos, it's up to you to figure out what's going on while exploring the entire scene of Bandle City and beyond past it. This is a cute game that does relate to the entire League of Legends series of games that have been out for some time. Now, I'm not even a true League of Legends fan, but this looks like something I want to give myself a go in, and its nice sprites and colorful characters makes it seem much more entertaining than the original name sounded to be. If you want to check this game out, check it out on Switch and PC yet again, like I mentioned earlier. And if you're a big League of Legends fan, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to jump into this, where it's completely different than what you're normally used to in League of Legends. Being released on February 27th is the 6th main entry in the Shiren the Wanderer series of games, which is a subset of the Mystery Dungeon series games that have been going strong for many, many years. This is Shiren the Wanderer, the Mystery Dungeon of Serpent Claw Island. This is a roguelike RPG that's being only released for the Switch, where you go inside of random types of dungeons and you fight monsters, which is just usually like any other type of dungeon crawler you may have seen out there before. The Shiren the Wanderer series has been going strong since 1995, and it's nice to see that this series is still having a very popular fan base to this very day, that we're getting a 6th entry into the main series of games that they've been releasing. Now, they've taken pretty much everything that the previous titles have been going with and taken a lot of their actual gameplay style and mechanics and adding a few new things, adding some different monsters. Returning monsters have come through as well, and a lot of the original different characters will show their faces in this one. Now, I've loved Shiren the Wanderer for many years, and it's a very fun franchise of games that have been doing a whole lot for me in so many different ways. And I'm glad to see that we're finally getting a new entry into the series as a whole. This looks promising, and if you ever played any of the Shiren Wanderer games, you know what pretty much to expect from them on a normal basis. But if you haven't done so, you want to check out a new roguelike dungeon crawler, I do highly recommend checking out Shiren the Wanderer, the Mystery Dungeon of Serpent Claw Island. Growing up in the 1990s, first-person shooters were literally some of the best games if you want fast-paced combat action. Games like Doom, Blood, Quake, and Hexen were all the rage back at that time. Well, there's a new game that's being released on February 27th to join that library of games, and this is called Wraith: Aeon of Ruin. Those particular games have paved the way for this new release of a game that's coming out to us, that when it first was released back in the year 2019 with a considered called first episode, well, now we're getting a full-fledged release of it. This game takes player style gameplay like it used to be back in the day in games like Doom, where you get to collect different items and skills to upgrade, which basically makes the combat that much more treacherous and fast-paced and all outdoors. There's gruesome monsters to kill, there's tons of weapons to find and use against them, and there's even a unique save function here where it's actually a consumable resource, so you can't just go through the game and save when you want to, which makes it that much harder. If you want something with some crazy aspect, just fast-paced shooting combat with a hardcore soundtrack, go ahead and check out Wraith: Aeon of Ruin when it finally drops. This game is being released on all major consoles, including the PC as well. Video game remakes are all the rage nowadays, and so many games do deserve them. Like this one here that's getting re-released on February 28th as a remake. Brother: A Tale of Two Sons, that was first released back in the day in 2013, is an adventure game that is being developed by Starbreeze Studios and published by 505 Games. This is a story or tale of two brothers going on a mission to find a cure for their father's illness after their mother has passed away. You'll meet different fictional creatures such as orcs and trolls that will come along the way, and meet a beautiful colored cast of characters, and the world and environment itself is just something to really explore through. There's puzzles to solve where you have to use both brothers in order to get past them, and let me tell you, this game was beautiful back then and the narrative was awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure that this time around we're going to get such a beautiful game yet again, due to the fact that, well, it is a remake of a game that's already been out before. If you never had a chance to play this game back in the day, this is a beautiful time to get your hands on it this time around, with Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons getting re-released on February 28th again for all consoles, PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. The last game to end the month of February is a doozy of an RPG that Square Enix is looking forward to putting into our hands, and this game here, I'm going to tell you, is literally going to be considered a nominee for Game of the Year by the end of this year alone. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake that came back out in 2020, and this, my friends, is literally looking to be one of the Game of the Year nominees. There is an actual demo that did release, and if you played the first game, and if you play Integrate as well, and even the Crisis Core remake that we got, then you know what to look forward to. This game here, you're going to be seeing the wonderful cast of characters we already saw in the first game, and seeing a bunch of new characters, new summons, everything in this game, and it's looking like it's going to be a beast of a title. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake from beginning to end without playing anything else because I was so captivated by not only just how it looks, but how it played and how the story was going thus far. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII in any form possible, I do highly recommend checking out these new remakes that we've been getting, but also I do highly recommend playing the original one as well, so you know what exactly has changed from the original game and to what we're getting nowadays. Get your copy on February 29th when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launches into stores then. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If you haven't done so and you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell, let you know when I drop a new video. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, hit that thumbs down. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. God loves you as well as I do. Thank you for your support. And also, happy gaming to everybody. Catch you guys in the next video. See you.